Hello lovely people. Today I will be comparing two tweeters because recently on an eBay auction I won these, which is SB Acoustics SB29RDNC with the ones that I had before, ScanSpeak those. So how am I going to compare them? I'm going to do two things. So first of all, let's have a look very quickly at the papers. The main difference is in the frequency response. So the scan speak, but I'm gonna take the frequency response in the car and compare them as well. The main difference, like scan speak between 10 and 20 has a peak and then it goes down, and the SB acoustic it goes flat up to 20 and then there's a peak after 20k, so it's extremely flat. And other things, they're very similar. They have similar inductivity, similar resonance frequency. That has 680, this one has 750. Power rating, I don't care about power ratings anyway. I did measure these. I took an impedance sweep, and yes, the impedance shows that the resonance is about 690 680 hertz, which is perfect. So how I'm gonna do this, I have my audio interface here. I have my Dayton mic. I'm gonna try to measure the distortion with REW and compare which tweeter has higher distortion, because the one with lower distortion is gonna be my favorite, because obviously on the tweeters you want as little distortion as possible. I'm gonna try to do that, and then I'm gonna try to A/B test them. And when I'm gonna do the A/B testing, I'm gonna explain how I'm gonna do this and how it's supposed to be done in my personal opinion. Okay, so oh, the other thing is, these SB acoustics, they're 4 ohm, but they're 3 ohm DC. So these you cannot really use them at home, because home amplifiers don't like go down to 4 ohms or even lower than 4 ohms. However, with this 3 ohm DC, it has 94 dB sensitivity, which is amazing. So these are gonna be extremely efficient, much more efficient than the ScanSpeak, because ScanSpeak it's 90.5. So basically these are 3.5 dB more efficient than the ScanSpeak. So yeah, let's have a look. Let me take some distortion measurements, because I'm going to do this for the first time. And the idea is to have the microphone, I don't know, is it gonna be like here or near field? I'm gonna try a few different distances, because I never measured distortion on anything. But my thinking is to put this SB Acoustics tweeter there in the corner next to that one, and I'm gonna do the frequency response measurement around my head, while both of them are gonna be in the same location, kind of the same, as like literally 5 centimeter distance, 2 inches, which is not a big difference, so it's not gonna be affecting much. And then I'm gonna do the distortion measurements, and then we're gonna have a look at those. Yeah, so give me a second. These are the measurements from the driver's sitting position where I'm listening at. So as you can see, like from 400 is only floor noise, nothing else. And this is the response. I did cross some at 1K. Where is it? There we go. 1K, but of 24, just for some protection. And you can see, let's actually add some smoothing, because the response looks extremely similar. There's not much difference. So let's say 1/6. Yeah, that's fine. It's extremely similar. However, the level, you can see that the SB is about, I want to say, more than 5 dB high-end level in some places. So this is like 5 dB increments, so more than 5 dB louder on the same settings in the DSP on 0. But no, actually the amps are different, so I cannot trust that. But in general, the SB is louder. What I want to see is how they actually compare to each other. So let's overlay them on top of each other. -5, something similar. Yeah. So yeah, there's not really much difference. By the way, I'm looking up to like here 20. This is 30, 40, 50k because I measured up to 96, 196. Well, it doesn't really matter. So I'm looking at up to 20k, and this is extremely similar. What I see, these one peak and the second peak for some reason, but everything else is really the same. The only difference really is the level. The SB is loud and level, so it's more efficient, which according to the paper it's supposed to be. So now I'm going to do some distortion measurements. And this is for you just a proof of concept how to do distortion measurements. So I need to connect the outputs of the audio interface into the DSP, which is done. And then this is crossed at still 1K, and at the moment I have kind of near field just for the, I'm gonna test different distances, different stuff, but for now it's just to show you how it's done. Basically you want it on axis, and then what you do, let me just remove this, there we go. You'll have to go to measure tab here. Here we're going to choose the frequency from 1K to 20K. That's a level, so you can play, I have a director, so I'm playing with the director. We can have it here, and basically what happens is it's going to do a sweep. Let's do it. Sorry for the loud noise. Yeah, so it takes about 10 seconds, and then you have this measurement, so you can check the, where is it? SPL, so it's going to be very high SPL because it's near field, so that's the SPL near field. And then you go to distortion tab. Before that, you can go to impulse and just gate it, because by default in my settings is 10 milliseconds, but you can gate it down to whatever, 3 seconds. It depends on the distance. Like people gate, I think 4 or 5 milliseconds if they have like 1 meter distance between the driver and the microphone. But like for my particular case, since I'm interested in the actual distortion, I think the distance doesn't really matter, so I don't know, as long as the levels are fine. So you gate it here, you make it a bit longer, so, and then you go to distortion tab, and here I zoomed in from 1K to 20K, and here in the corner you choose a percentage, because otherwise it's just gonna show just random stuff. So you choose percentage. On the top here, 0 is like normalized signal, and then you have the distortion. Yeah, so the last one, this one, is the noise, floor noise of my car. So this is the floor noise, and these are all the harmonics and all the distortion. So you can see like second harmonic, third harmonic, fourth, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. So if I tick the floor noise, all the harmonics apart from the second one, the third one is in the floor noise. So all the harmonics is in the floor noise, and the only one that's peaking is the second. And the second one, you can see it here. So this is percentage. So this is 1%. This is 0.5%. If I just remove the floor noise like that, you can see clearly. So from, I want to say like here, which is 1.6K, the distortion is below 1%, and lower than 1.6K, the distortion is up to 2%. It speaks here. So I'm going to do some more measurements. I'm going to play with the crossover frequency, because I assume that if you change the crossover frequency, the distortion changes as well. And I'm going to play with the distances and stuff. But this is like the basic stuff, how you do the distortion measurements. And this is where it shows the distortion measurements. So let me make some. While doing those distortion measurements, I just realized that I was testing the tweeter on this channel that I have empty from this amplifier. However, my other tweeter is connected to a different amplifier. So it's not fair to compare tweeters based on different amplifiers. So what I'm doing now is I'm disconnecting the right tweeter, the one, the scan speak, and I'm putting the SB on exactly the same channel that I did all the measurements for the scans. So it's gonna be, because it's not fair to compare different amps. So same channel, same level, same everything, same DSP channel for both of those tweeters. So now I'm just swapping, putting on a different one. And yeah, I done all the scan speak. It's literally very, very dark. It's middle of the night. So I had to take the pillar out because, let me actually show you. It's gonna be easier. I had to remove the pillar because my tweeter was there and I noticed that there's a lot of distortion just because stuff is bouncing around. So I tried to put the towel in there because I had the mic like this, but it was still extortion is distortion. So I had to take the pillar out, and I have the pillar like in front of me so I can avoid all the glasses and everything. And then I'm gonna do exactly the same with the SB. So I have some measurements. I need to do the SB now. So all the measurements are done. I do apologize for this because it's pitch black, dark night already. I don't know what time it is. Anyway, I had them set up like this, both of them on axis. And so how do you A/B test two tweeters? Because like if you put them there and let them play whatever they play, it's not fair because you're gonna be testing. You always hear the cabin, yeah, how everything like glass and dash and everything changes the sound, because every tweeter is gonna sound, every speaker is gonna sound different just because of the cabin. So what you have to do is and I don't know if it's gonna be, oh my god, the glare. Okay, perfect. So what I did is the red one is the blue one is the scan, is the original one that I had, and it had this response like now when it was playing. I don't know, I EQ'd it flat, but for some reason it's like this now. It's totally fine. So what I did, I EQ'd the SB, the red one, in exactly the same way, because what you want is for them to play the same things, because if they're giving playing different things, they're gonna sound different, obviously. So I didn't play that much, but as you can see here, they mimic each other extremely, because you have a little bit difference here, but the rest, especially the slope, is exactly the same. Yeah, so I know that they measure exactly the same. And in here as well, let me get rid of the glare. I needed one band to add that notch, and I added the same delay for both tweeters. And what you have with Helix, interesting thing. So these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they change. They mute and unmute different speakers. So for example, number 4, if I press number 4, see, mutes, unmutes channel D, mutes, unmutes channel D. So this tip was given to me by Adam. Basically, when you want to A/B something, I have 4 and 5. So 4 is the SB Acoustics, the new one, and 5 is the scan speak. So if I press both of these 4 and 5 at the same time, look, they change. D is playing, I press both of them, E is playing. And basically, by pressing these two buttons, you can A/B instantly two drivers. Instantly, they change over instantly, because if you change the preset, it takes 10 seconds, but for this, it's just instantly. So what did I notice? Even without looking at the distortions graphs, but I'm gonna go through them as well, even without looking, when the speakers are tuned to exactly the same target curve, they sound extremely different. and I can tell straight away that the new one, the SB, is much cleaner. I don't know how much, but it sounds much cleaner. And the weird thing is, I'm listening, so I was listening only to the tweeters, and then I was listening to the mid and tweeter only. It's like this combo of, I didn't listen to the whole system with only those, because it's unfair again. And if you are watching what's his name, Amar or whatever, science review on YouTube, when he reviews speakers, he listens to a single speaker, not to a pair of speakers, because when you're listening to a pair, you're listening to the interaction between those two speakers, yeah? But if you want to listen to only one particular thing of a speaker, it has to be one, not both. So I was listening to the mid and tweeter only. And with those two buttons, I was swapping SB with mid and scan with mid, SB with mid and scan with mid, like with the press of a button. And the weird thing is, I don't know why, when I play scan speak, the stage is literally somewhere there, down there. So because maybe it bounces back off the dash now when I'm seeing it. And the SB, when I played it, the stage was higher, much higher. And the thing is, like, it's pitch black, it's dark, yeah? So I was listening it without seeing anything. And you can hear the difference, and you can hear the shift in the stage. So I know only from this listening, without looking at the distortion measurements, I know that the SB is much better, and I know that I'm gonna keep it. But now, just for fun, let's have a look at these measurements. Let's have a look at these distortion measurements. First of all, let me explain what I have on the left side. So these numbers, without anything, is the scan speak, and SB is for SB acoustics. And these numbers are 4K, 3K, 2K is the crossover. So 1K crossover, 2K crossover, 24 dB. And the number 15, 10, and 5 is the level on my director, Helix director. So 5 is minus 5 dB on the director, which is almost literally full tilt. I extremely rarely listen to minus 5 dB. My usual listening levels are about between 15 and 10. Minus 15, minus to 10 dB, which is loud, but not extremely like about like down to 0. I never go down to 0. So these are like my normal listening levels. And let's have a look. So with I unticked a lot of harmonics, and I left the second harmonic, the third harmonic, and the THD. So the THD is like the total. So the most I will be looking at this THD and the noise floor, just for comparison. So for example, if I play the scan speak crossed at 4K, and I play it at minus 15 dB on the director, which is like normal listening levels, I have this, which is like the bottom part is get buried in the floor noise, but I have about 0.5% of distortion, which is good, extremely good. If I put the crossover down to 3K on the same level, this straight away pops up, and I have distortion. So if I cross it at 3K, so this is in the crossover region, yeah? And I have already 5% of distortion straight away on normal listening levels. So if I go from 4K crossover down to 3K crossover, this one pops up. If I lower the crossover even lower to 2K, even this, the second harmonic comes up, and it's close to 10% straight away. So now I have it crossed. Where is it? Hi, 5.5K at 12 dB. So I have them 5.5K, which is very high, but still. And on the higher levels, if I let's take full tilt, so full tilt, almost full tilt, minus 5 dB with a 4K crossover. With a 4K crossover, I'm already at 5%. And if you remember 4K crossover, lowering volume down by 5 dB brings it down to 3%. So that's the same 4K crossover, and lowered the volume even down, then it goes into the noise floor. If I have a crossover at 3K, that's 10% of distortion full tilt, and at 2K, all of this pops up as well. Well, I will never cross it at 2K. That's always so like 4K is like a normal. So let's have a look at 3K, -5 and a -10. So on the scan, I have 10%, the highest. Everywhere else is about 3% on almost full tilt. 3K, 3K, 10. And this here is a bit lower, that's like 1%. But here I have 2, and here up to 7%. Now let's have a look. I'm not going to go through all of them. SB Acoustics, full tilt, the lowest crossover at 2K. I have 3.7%. If I cross it at 2K, this is almost full tilt. That is unbelievable. If I up the crossover at 3K, this goes down, and the top is still like 3.2, 3 point something. 4K, full tilt. Again, all of this goes down, but this. So I want to say with the SB Acoustics, it doesn't matter the level, because the level just brings, as you can see, it just brings this bottom distortion up to like 3%. But this is, remember, it's almost full tilt. So can you hear that distortion? I don't know. But this, I can cross it down to 2K, 3K, down to 2K easy, and it's still gonna be manageable. So compare this 2K5 SB and this. You can see what's happening here. That's up to 10%, and we have, let's check the third. Where's the third harmonic? Third harmonic, second harmonic, fourth one is down there. So second and third, and the third harmonic, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the third one, this is the one that sounds very harsh. So, and the second harmonic sounds pleasant. So I have second and third in the same level. If I check SB Acoustics, there we go. I have the second harmonic together with a THD. The third is much slower. You see, this is on full tilt almost. So again, on scan, they're all the same level, third and second. The fourth one is lower, but with SB Acoustics, I have the second one, which sounds pleasant in theory, with the THD at 3.8% something. But the third one, the one that sounds harsh, it's much lower. It's at 0.5% here, and even lower here, which is literally inaudible. And the fourth one is buried in the crossover region. So if I cross the SB, let's say 3K, and I listen to it at normal listening levels, I have here almost floor noise, and I have maximum 2% with the second harmonic, and the third one is 0.1, 0.2%, which is bloody amazing. And if I lower it a bit down the volume, it goes down to 1%. So on normal listening levels, which is like minus 15 dB on the director, well, for me it's normal, for some might be a bit loud, I have 1% of distortion, and here it goes into the floor noise. And the third harmonic here is 0.1, and the fourth is even under the floor noise. So this is bloody amazing, and I think I was hearing exactly that. So let me check 3K15 and this one 3K15. Yeah, so 3K15 on the scan, I already have 5% at 2.2K, and is the third, the harsh harmonic. The second one is lower. For some reason, the scan speak has the harsh the third harmonic always there. And that's why, like, when I was listening only to the tweeters, I can hear straight away that the scan speak sounds harsh. And I don't know, it's extremely old tweeter. It's like more than 10 years old. And this one, SB Acoustics, crossed at 1K. So you can potentially cross it at 1K because its FS is like 680. I wouldn't, but you can cross it at 1K. So crossed at 1K, and let's lower the volume. Minus 15 dB on the director. I have, like, on average, 1% of distortion. Just here it shoots up to 2%. And it's all the second harmonics. The third one is there. So this is amazing. I love this tweeter from how it sounds and how it measures, especially the distortion. So I know I'm going to be swapping it as fast as I can. That's the first deal of business, to swap those tweeters. And another thing, this is how you could potentially choose a crossover for your tweeter. So for example, this is normal listening levels, yeah, minus 15 dB on the director, and this is 1K, 2K, 3K, and 4K, and you can see the distortion goes down, down, down into the floor noise. If I take the 10 minus 10 dB, yeah, so this is 4K, 3K, 2K, and 1K. So for this one, like, it shoots up a bit, so maybe choose 2K crossover, and all your distortion is below 2% on high listening levels. So this is one way how you could potentially choose a crossover, because everybody's like, oh, what crossover should I choose for the tweeters? What is the best? I don't know. And this is one of the ways how you can find out, because for this, for example, scan speak that I have now, if I have it on loud levels, 10% distortion on a tweeter is unbearable. If I up the crossover to 2K, nothing. 3K, nothing. 4K, still 3%. So yeah, so this tweeter should be crossed no lower than 4K. I cross it at 5.5, so that's why it sounds not that bad. On lower levels, yeah, 4K. Like 3K, it still stands out, 5%, which is really audible. But for 4K, it goes down. So this scan speak, I have to cross it no lower than 4K, and I cross it at 5.5. So it still sounds good. But if I would want to cross it a bit lower, and especially in the crossover region when it blends with the mids, I'm gonna choose this as the SB Acoustics. Yeah. I love REW with all this stuff. I love it. And now I'm gonna love this tweet as well. Cool. So thank you very much for watching. Measure the distortion of your speakers, because why not? Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.